Beautiful. I think we're live. So I want to welcome you. If you're taking a look at this video today, this is the Icon Agent Interview Panel. What you're going to be hearing from today are these incredibly successful real estate agents from all across the country. This is their interview for Icon Agent, and they're going to be discussing things, tips, tricks for making you be able to sell more houses. And if you're somebody who's looking to get into real estate, you definitely want to watch this and take some notes. And if you're somebody who's looking at EXP, you'd like to take a look at it. And if you're already an EXP and you're not an Icon agent, you're going to want to find out how to become an Icon agent. Here's why. You're probably wondering, what's this Icon agent thing? See, Icon agent is where you can earn your cap that you paid back into the company, back in company stock. So what's that mean? Well, when you join EXP, you're going to be on what's called an 80-20 split. Now, for those of you out there who are 100% splits, listen to what we have, an 80-20 split, but it's a $16,000 cap. What that means is when you've paid in $80,000 of GCI, you then flip to 100% for the rest of your anniversary year. But EXP goes one step further than that. See, if you're willing to hit certain performance goals, certain cultural goals, and also some education goals, like you're seeing from this incredible group here you're going to hear from in just a second, they'll give you your $16,000 you paid in. They'll give it to you back in company stock. So here's the math question. It's the only one I'm going to ask you if you're watching this. If you paid $16,000 in and you get your $16,000 back in stock, what was your split? Everybody say it together is? It's 100%, right? Because we hear these 100%ers. I'd never go to an 80-20 split, but we're one step better than that. If you get a chance to take a look at our stock, it's publicly traded on the NASDAQ, by the way, over $4 billion in market cap valuation. It has been going nuts. Now, we're not allowed to predict what stock's going to do. Stocks go up, stocks go down, but how's our stock doing compared to the stock that your company's giving you? That's what I'd ask you right now. So we're going to get into this. First of all, I want to introduce everybody that's here, and then we're going to ask them some questions. Get a pen and paper, get ready to take some notes, because I guarantee you, you're going to take something away from this that will help you grow your real estate business. So I've got Kristen Binding on here. She's been in real estate. Her and her husband, they're a team. They've been doing it for 6 years out of the Charlotte. You're going to hear from her in just a second. I've got Matt Durbin. He's been doing it for 10 years out of Pittsburgh as a superstar. And Keith Bliss, 19 years in real estate out of Raleigh. And Stacy and I, we've been doing real estate since 1997, way back in the 1900s. And we've been with all the big players. So we've been around a while. This is wisdom hair, not gray hair is what I like to say. So I'm going to start with the first question with Kristen here. And that is this. Kristen, you're an icon, you're a superstar. What do you contribute your icon success? How did you do it? And how long did it take you to reach this level of production?
Okay, first, Jim, your energy is infectious. I am digging it right now. It's
coffee.
Just, love it. You're setting the tone for this entire thing right now. So I am, I'm one half of Team Vining. We're a really small boutique type structure. We came over from KW. We were there for a little over 3 years, so we're vested over there. And this model was undeniable once my husband actually got my eyes open to it. So for my husband, it was the stock that was most attractive, right? And what has helped us kind of reach that icon, well, let me kind of back up. I kind of derailed there for a second. So the icon thing is 100% sheer grit. That's how we got there. Hustle, grit, relentlessness, constantly talking about about real estate, and not in the manner in which I say, hey, Jim, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Like, it's not that at all. When you're passionate about something, you find a natural way to converse about it. So it could be something where I'm having, I don't know, a glass of wine with some friends at, a local watering hole, and it's, holy cow, it's free money out there right now. Can you believe how low the interest rates are? And that just kind of opens up Pandora's box. So, it's taken, we cap, so we reached that 100%. This last time we hit it in 17 days. And we will icon this month. So about 2 months to icon. But again, that is not just Ken and I doing it. That is a team behind us that just kind of propels us and catapults us up there to that next level. So did I get it all? Did I hit all those points?
I love it. Great job, Kristen. I love it. So Matt, 10 years in real estate. Tell everyone how long you've been with EXP and how did you get to Icon? Tell everybody, give them the secret,
Yeah.
man, the secret sauce.
Yeah, so I think a little bit like what Kristen had mentioned is grit, and I think I contribute reaching icon status and the success probably a lot based on the failures. So you gotta learn how to fail. You gotta learn how to do things the wrong way, do things wrong the first time, figure out how to do them correct the second time. And so I've been in the business about 10 years. About 4 of that was in South Florida. So I was there pre-bubble. I had a mortgage company before the market crashed in Fort Lauderdale, and then kind of on the way back up got into real estate, on the real estate side of things, and then ended up moving back home to Pittsburgh about 7 years ago, 2013. So for me, I think the icon status, really was just I kind of taught myself how to run my real estate business as a business, and start to create some leverage and get some real freedom in time, because I was at the point, like 3 years ago I started a team and I was burning out. I was like, am I staying in real estate? Because I can't imagine doing this for another 20 years, and so we started building a team and creating leverage, and now we've gotten to the point where icon status is another great step for us, and we just continue to grow and treat it like a business, and and help it to serve you, as opposed to kind of you're working for your business all the time.
I love that, Matt. It doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world if you have no time to enjoy it. And that's one of the great things about EXP is we have multiple streams of revenue coming in, and the way our model is built is to build leverage into your business so you have time freedom. I love it. Great point on that. So I've got a legend in the industry here, Keith Bliss, 2 decades in the business. Looks like we have all the superstars of the state of North Carolina on here with us today. Keith Bliss out of Raleigh, man. Tell us, Icon. You've been around in EXP for a while. Tell everybody how long you've been in. Tell us about Icon.
Sure. I moved to EXP in December of 2016, when I believe we had 26 or 2,700 agents. And I'm typically an early adopter. We operate a boutique firm in a 1920s bungalow in our historic downtown area of Cary. And with that, we had a choice a few years ago of having spent a lot of time at the largest national franchise company, and before that a local company. But we had an opportunity to decide to go out on our own, to buy into a different type of franchise a couple of years ago, because we just saw that it was time for us to do that. We're extremely hyper local. Jim, just to give you an idea, we focus on a 1 mile radius from our office location, and most of our business stays within that mile. These days, which is pretty fun. When we're coming in at 30 to 40 million in GCI, in gross volume. It's pretty amazing. Not GCI, that'd be amazing. I wouldn't even be on this call, would I?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe.
I'd be hanging out with Dak Prescott, putting ice on his ankle because he's got 31 million to deal with. So we made a choice to invest in this opportunity of EXP Realty versus going out on our own, because why reinvent the wheel? Why build up something that eventually agents or the brokerage members are going to be looking for later from you, when Glenn Sanford laid out the perfect map and framework for us to tie right into. So when we came into it nearly 4 years ago now, I gave myself 3 years. I said, 3 years, I'll be, it's like a vesting process of anything else. I'll give it 3 years. And in 3 years, if I don't have anything to show for it, then I might consider going out on my own, but why not? In the end, we were already iconing, we already had that production level. So the icon part of it was really attractive for us to step into, because we were gonna finally get something back, as opposed to the brokerage we were before, where we were constantly putting money in and never getting anything out of it. No ownership opportunity, no equity, and no say or impact as an owner or a broker owner. So, so for us, it's really incredible. The icon status, today has transformed a ton since I joined, in the fact that these Zoom calls and other education outreaches by the icons is a requirement as part of your status and as part of your stock award program. So it's really amazing how we have shaped and formed this icon program over the last 4 years. I'm just proud to be part of it.
Keith, that's a great point. Collaboration is one of our core values at EXP. We are looking, if you're an agent and you're looking to sell more real estate, you've got all this knowledge, and that people are looking to take what we have up here and give it to you to help you succeed and help you win. And we get compensated to give that information. So Stacy and I, like I said, been in real estate since '97. We had been with Keller Williams, RE/MAX, and then we went to 100% broker where they were the commercial and we were the residential arm of it, right? And we were never, ever, ever going to leave. We had the best deal going, we thought. And then someone 2 years ago showed us the EXP business model, and we were like, crap, we don't want to leave, but we have to leave. We are leaving tens of thousands of dollars on the table every single year by being where we were at. And we made the move. It was the greatest business decision we ever made. Now, we loved our broker, still do love our old broker, but we loved our family more, and we had to make that move. We had to, and it was the greatest decision ever. And people are always like, well, why didn't you just become a broker, Jim? Why didn't you guys become a broker? I'll tell you why. We didn't want to do adult babysitting. We didn't want the liability. I didn't want to go to bed every night wondering who's going to screw up tomorrow and going to get me sued. No thanks. And we built the team model. We did that. Everybody we trained, guess what they would do? They would grow wings, and they would fly out of the nest, and they would use everything we taught them against us as competition. Here, I can pour everything we have into our people. I can see them succeed. I can get the value of that, and I get compensated for it, and we win together. That's what you're going to love about EXP. So I'm going to go to Kristen next. Kristen, time freedom, like, it's very, very important. So tell us, how do you delegate and what do you delegate? You're crushing it selling all those houses, and how are you doing it?
So that's a great question. I have a director of operations, a director of trainer and agent growth, and I have 3 agents, and then there's my husband and I am the rainmaker for all intents and purposes. The mass majority of everything that we receive or get or serve or work is coming from my sphere, from my sphere referrals, now coming from past client referrals. We've just started dabbling with Zillow for no other reason than this. We've got all these different lanes in which to be able to make money with EXP, right? We've got the production lane, we've got the stock lane, and we've got the revenue share lane. And so we start with the production lane. For me, being the rainmaker, the pressure I feel like is always on me. So in which to be able to lift that pressure, I have to leverage. And so one of the ways in which to do that is to figure out a way to grow a sustainable business that will be able to survive in the event something should happen to me. So that's kind of like where, well, let me kind of look at the numbers with Zillow. Let's see if that makes sense for us. Right now, we're about 45 days into it, and so far, so good. We're in the black, which is great, which is a little unprecedented, being only 45 days into this with them. So right now, I'm not losing, so no harm, no foul. Let's just kind of keep it going. Let's see what happens, but that's not to take the place of everything else. Now, the cool thing is that despite the fact that our production numbers are down, we got to remember what we focus on, what we focus on expands. Not to go back to the old, you know who, you know what law, because it sounds like we both, you and I, Jim, came from the, the bold thing. Anyway, I've started focusing a little bit more on investments. I've started focusing a little bit more on flipping. Started focusing a little bit more on growing my EXP team. And so here I am now diversifying, where I could take all that time and I can take all that energy, and I can keep the hamster wheel going, just burn and churn production. But you're as good as your last deal. And as soon as that deal's done, then you're kind of like, oh my gosh, am I going to get another deal? Am I going to get another deal? Whereas right now, I've got all this money coming in right now. Here we are, just over 2 years in with EXP, and with where we're trading today, we're $594,980 right now, sitting in a bucket of money that we've acquired in 2 years. So who wouldn't in 2 years like a $600,000 bucket of money for doing what we're already doing? that's what blows my mind, is that when I talk to people and they're like, no. And I think, oh my gosh, no to $600,000? Like, you're doing more volume than I am. Like, do you know what you're saying no to? But I got to circle back to myself because I said no for the longest time as well. And so, you know, delegating is yeah, I mean, we grew to as large as 10 on our team. And then it just completely, talk about failing forward, it just crumbled on us because I hired the wrong talent. I was hiring my friends, right? Friends were seeing our success. They're like, oh my gosh, how do I get in on this mix? We'd be great together. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, we'd be so good together. And then it just implodes. And so then it's kind of like, you know what? We don't need to do this. We're just going to go back and we're going to do real estate on our own. And so for the last 18 months, we've been doing that. And then here we are again. Like, we can't, this is not sustainable. So we have to grow. And so we've hired the agents. And then we have our EXP agents that we can go to as well. So I know that was kind of long-winded, but how do we delegate? We're not afraid to spend money in which to be able to buy time. So that time we're buying, we're either, one, reinvesting it in something else in which to be able to extract revenue, or, I don't know, I guess you could vacation. I guess you could go grab another hobby. For me, real estate is not just my work, but it's, I say to my husband all the time, I said, I don't understand, like, why don't I have a hobby? Well, my hobby is flipping houses. My hobby is doing purchase orders and getting on Wayfair and picking out cabinet colors. And I mean, that's an outlet for me. It's an outlet that just so happens to be bringing in a substantial amount of money, which is fun.
I don't know if you guys caught that. If you're out there and you're watching, you're taking notes, multiple streams of revenue coming in from multiple sources, all underneath the EXP umbrella, and giving yourself more time and more sources of revenue for when the real estate market does tank. It's great right now and it's going great. So if you're brand new, I hope you caught what she said. If you can replace yourself, you have a business. If you leave and the money stops coming in, you have yourself a real estate job, and we're building real estate businesses here. So I want to welcome Mark Z here on the call. Mark, you joined. You want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
How you doing? Sorry about that. Internet troubles, the joys of working from home. My name is Mark Z. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I've been in the industry now going on 18 years. Don't ask me where these 18 years went, but you know, it seems like the longer you're in, the faster time flies.
Congratulations on Icon, Mark. Congratulations on that. How long have you been with EXP?
I've been with EXP now going on 2 years.
Great.
I came over to EXP with a team of about 15 from Keller Williams, and the EXP model has really helped us, you know, attract agents. Our team now has between 55 and 60 team members on it, and a lot of that is due to, you know, me selling the benefits of EXP. We've used, you know, the stock shares and, you know, the website that you get and a lot of the benefits that you get with EXP, and using that in agent attraction. And it's helped us grow. And with that growth growth in agents, it's helped us grow in volume and number of transactions and everything that comes along with that.
Congratulations on Icon, Mark. I'll come back to you with the question here in a second. Matt, I'm going to switch it up a little bit and ask you this question. Matt Durbin from Pittsburgh. What's your number one priority every single day? Like, what is it that you do every single day? If you could only do one thing, if there's an agent out there listening, you could only do one thing today and one thing only, what would it be?
Well, it'll be one of two things. It's either new business development or now attraction, which is kind of what's moved into my number one priority. But when I if you're 100% in the sales side of things, it's got to be new business development on a daily basis.
Give them an example. What would be your go-to new business development? Because a lot of agents out there, they want to sell more houses. What would that be?
Well, it'd be either lead generation. You know, for us, it would be expired listings or for sale by owners. Excuse me. 8 to 11 typically is our call block time. That's kind of how we run our team. We got to protect the morning. So if you look at anybody's calendar on my team, it should be in is that 8 to 11 call block time. And for some people on my team, it may be not expireds. Maybe it is, you know, they've got a database of 200 people in their sphere, and they're hitting them so many, you know, quarterly. Or maybe it's the internet lead gen that Kristen had mentioned, your Zillow leads, you're following up with them. But if you're not spending the majority of your time on new business development and you're spending too much time on doing the things that don't make you money, you end up in that roller coaster ride that I'm sure we've all been on in the sales side of things and in the real estate industry.
I love that answer, Matt. You know, if you're a newer agent, you're out there, or you're an agent just trying to go to the next level, they always ask the question, well, how much time should I spend on lead generation? The answer, all of it. Until you have more leads than you can handle, it should all be on lead generation. It shouldn't just be, okay, I did my 1 hour today. If you don't have enough business, it should be all day long, right? And I love that, Matt. That's great. Keith Bliss from Raleigh, I'm going to come to you next. I'm going to move down to another question on here. What's your daily schedule look like, Keith, as far as like time blocking and things like that, man? You're a champion, 2 decades in the business. Give agents an idea. What does your daily schedule look like with time blocking?
So time blocking, I never schedule any in-person appointments in the mornings. That time is business development, that's outbound calls, that's all the other things. So I'm and then I time block, just for new agents, I time block so that I can control my schedule right from the beginning. And I've been doing this for 15 years now, where I control my day does not control me. So I know that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm available for appointments at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 5 o'clock, Monday and Wednesday, and on Fridays up until 3 o'clock, and then I cut off appointments on Friday nights, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays it's on the half hour. And I just do that, you know, kind of like scheduling, kind of like airlines schedule weird times for a flight so that you know you're on time, right? The same thing for us. It's I make sure that everyone knows my availability. Everybody knows when I can do that. And so on the fly, when someone says to me, hey, Keith, when can you meet? I can go right to, well, I'm available Friday at 1 o'clock. Does that work for you? And get that going. So organizing your time from the beginning is super important. And I go back to what Matt was saying, and that, you know, my one thing every day is to have 3 new conversations. And it used to be 3 new conversations about selling a house, or 3 new conversations about buying a house, or 3 new conversations about EXP Realty. Really, in the end, if you have any more than 3 new conversations a day, you are really busy, because the number one goal is to have a huge chunk of time for follow-up. And what we typically lose is within our organizational skills or our time is the ability and the skill set of following up. And then understanding other people's time frames, cadence, and everything else. They're not all going to follow up with you the way that your job every day is to follow up with them. They're not wait for them to get back to you. That's just so important to understand.
I love what you said, Keith. You're building the relationships, not just going for the sale. And then when you build those relationships strong enough, the sales just naturally come on that.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Conversations. Yeah. You're doing awesome on that. I'm going to go to Kristen next, and then Mark. Kristen, I'm going to skip down here. What's your secret sauce? Like, you're crushing it with your team where you're at. You're a champion there. What's your secret sauce? Like, if you could give away something right now to people, what would it be?
Facebook. That's it. Facebook. Everybody needs to work Facebook. Social media. If Facebook's not your thing, if Instagram's your thing, if LinkedIn's your thing, if I don't know of my colleagues who's Snapchatting and who's TikToking, but I mean, hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
You doing the renegade dance, Kristen, on TikTok?
Oh my goodness. Oh, if only. You know, I mean, just like you guys have said, it is all about relationships. And our whole motto is relationships first, real estate second. And the secret sauce is just conversing. It's just loving people and not, I mean, just constantly talking about it. And it's a natural thing. And then once it's just rolling off your tongue, it comes in. The inbound stuff is natural. Not that we're not still nurturing and following up and working the CRM and doing drip campaigns and, you know, the whole 9 yards. But, you know, Facebook for us, for me personally, there's just under 5,000, I think, on there. And then the followers are growing. And it's a way for us to categorize things and put people in certain kind of folders or lists, for your Facebook friends lists and groups. And then, I mean, we just talked about that in our team meeting this morning. Gretchen, one of our agents rather, she has taken all of her clients and put her clients into one bucket, into one list. And every single day she goes to that one list and she goes and loves on every single one of her clients, whether it's liking, loving something, commenting on something, saying happy birthday. And when you chunk it down like that, it makes it that much more, you just digest it a little bit better. So it's a bit more like, oh, I can knock this out in 5 minutes, right? Versus looking at your whole Facebook list and going, oh, this is overwhelming. That's a lot of people I got to touch today. So, you know, the secret sauce for us truly is just using anything and everything we can that's free in which to be able to stay out in front of our people and stay top of mind.
I love it. Great. Mark, I'm going to ask you to unmute because I muted you manually there. I was getting some feedback. And I'm going to stick with this, your secret sauce. I think this is a really good one. So, Mark, tell everyone, what's your secret sauce? You're a champion there in the Detroit area. You're an icon agent. What is your secret sauce?
Yeah, great question. You know, as you know, there's really no secrets in this business. Everyone's always worried about the secrets getting out to your competition. But, you know, the truth is I found in 18 years, there are no secrets, right? It's really consistency. People always want to ask, you know, does this marketing work? Do postcards work? Does radio? You know, we do it all. We do radio and we do TV and billboards and postcards and social media. And, you know, the question is, you know, what's the secret sauce? What works the best? They all work, but you got to be consistent with them, right? Most people stop doing, for example, postcards. Most people stop doing them within 6 months. And it's great for guys like me because I know that in order to break into a farm, I know that it takes 18 months. And I know the formula that you got to hit them every, well, starting off, you got to hit them every 2 to 3 weeks. And then you can, you know, dial back down. But everything works with consistency. The problem is most people aren't consistent. Once they hit success, they stop, or they stop right before they are about to break into the success. So if people would just stay consistent, even once they hit success or up until they hit success, then they find out that almost all of the marketing mediums work. So consistency.
I love that. I love that, Mark. Darren Hardy, right?
Yeah.
Small, smart, consistent actions applied over time yield massive results. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Matt Durbin, I'm going to stay with this. What's your secret sauce? This is a really good one. I'm writing stuff down as we're going right here from you champions. What's your secret sauce, Matt?
You know, I think it's like along the same lines as what Mark just mentioned. It's I show up every day and do the work. So I may not be the best salesperson there is out there. You know, you may not know the market, you may not know all of these things, but if you do the work every day and you work hard and you concentrate on the right things, you can be successful in this business. So I feel like, you know, hard work is probably the secret sauce because, you know, like I mentioned at the beginning, I've taken my lumps. We've learned things the hard way. You know, we've tried things that don't work. We've tried things that do work that we quit doing for some reason or another. Like we've done a lot of things the hard way, but if you still show up every day and you just continually go at it, you'll be successful. You know, you can be successful in this business just kind of just grinding at it, just doing the things that you're supposed to do every day, whether or not you're a superstar or not. You can still be successful in this business.
Matt, you're kidding me. You mean people are actually going to have to work at real estate to be successful? You got to be kidding me. I'm going to go to Keith Bliss next. Keith, what's your secret sauce, man? 19 years in the business. You got to have something.
Man, you can't get over this 19 years in the business thing. I'm telling you. I tell you, you know, I personally sold over 1,000 homes, and it always comes down to knowing the questions to ask. That's it. It's not what you say, it's what you ask. And if you're waiting for someone to finish what they're saying for you to say something back, you're in the wrong game. You've got to be ready to ask the next question and keep that conversation going. Our secret sauce these days is, as I mentioned when we first got on, you know, we concentrate on a 1 mile radius from our office location. And my goal and intention is to have more than 10% of the transaction sides within that market area where our signs stay in yards long enough to be covered in concrete, run over by trucks, flipped over by bad weather, whatever it may be. I really love picking up a sign that has a whole lot of bird poop on it and, cleaning it off, and it's doing its job, And so when people say they see our signs everywhere, they don't mean everywhere to Timbuktu. They mean everywhere right here. And that's what's so important to us. And it also allows us, a fair amount of opportunity to be part of the local community. We run a large local Facebook group that we've been running for 14 years now. And we create discussions not around real estate, houses for sale, anything like that, but all around community development, what's happening next, what the town's doing, what big developers are doing, new restaurants, everything that has to do with the lifestyle within that 1 mile radius. And it really creates, longevity and a long-term presence for all the old school people in this part of town. And no, it's not a crazy, amazing price point for that matter either. It's not super sexy by all means. I've got my super dirty work boots on right now. Look at that. I'm talking about, walking in the mud and everything else before I got on this call. You're lucky I even have a collared shirt on. So, when you're talking about rolling up your sleeves and, a good day to me is when I have to change clothes 3 or 4 times, where I'm multitasking between everything. I'm sure everybody on this call has probably done that. Right?
I love it. The glamorous part of real estate, picking up the signs with the bird poop on it, man. If you're not willing to do the little things, then you don't deserve to get the big things, is the way I say it. And Stacey and I, what we've learned this is our 24th year in real estate. What I've learned is that we're not out to make a client, we're out to make a friend. Our mentor taught us a long, long time ago to grow with your network. If you're getting into real estate or you're new or you're trying to get to become an icon, here's the thing. Develop a relationship with your people and grow with them. We're never too big to take a small deal. I mean, we first started selling houses. Our average sales price was $85,000 back in the 90s here in Central Ohio. Some of those people now have grown and we're selling them $600,000 and $700,000 houses. And we had one family that we met. We just came full circle 20 years ago and sold their house, but it was Cornelius and Mary Beth Abimbola. And they were new immigrants to our country from Africa, and we helped them buy their first house back in 2000. And they referred us 18 family members and friends, and they all ended up buying in a new build community on pretty much the same street in the same block, all of them together. But because we built a friendship with them, they've invited us to come to their new place out in Arizona. We've been to feast with them that they've had and things like that. And that's what I would say the secret sauce is of this business. Build relationships, not customers. And you'll have tons and tons of success, and it will grow as you stay in there long enough on that. So I'm going to get to the next one here. I'm going to go to Kristen next. And that is whatever on everybody's mind. You covered it a little bit, but I want to hear you go into it more. What's your most effective lead generation tool or process? And give them a specific tidbit. Give them something good.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go back to social media because we're all working our sphere via social media. So let's dig a little bit deeper on what do we mean by that. If you were to go over to facebook.com//Kristen Vining Realtor, you're going to know exactly who I am. You're going to know exactly what I stand for. You're going to know what I believe in. Now, I don't get into talking about politics at all. Not going there. But I, I'm a believer. And so, but I am careful there as well as, just have to be, I guess. But I would say for the new agents out there, if you are just getting your social media, book of business off the ground, then getting out to new construction neighborhoods and taking pictures of model homes and pretty interiors, all of those things, everybody loves a great picture. And if you're putting the latest trends out there with colors or cabinetry or fixtures, we like to see that kind of stuff. Like what's trending right now. I live in a home that's 2007 and we're having it photographed here in an hour and 15 minutes because we're going and building a home But I've done my part in keeping up with this 2007 home so I can compete with the new construction, so that when it photographs, it becomes like now just this really epic marketing piece. So, and I've tried to stay up with the trends. So, you know, I think that that's an important thing to do. And don't be afraid to share, you know, stuff with your family. And I know a lot of people probably want to be careful with, you know, there's a safety issue there too, but I don't know. I just, if you scroll through my Facebook, it's pretty much all real estate, but I try to switch it up, a little bit of EXP talk, a little bit of flipping talk. Yesterday I was on Insta stories because I was literally sanding with an electric sander kitchen cabinetry that's going into one of our flips in Charlotte. So, you know, I share it all. Don't be afraid to have somebody take your picture. Don't be afraid to take the picture, make sure it's original content, and make sure it's just really good information of value. Don't just go sharing a ton of realtor.com links or Zillow links and it drives traffic off of your Facebook page. Try to make it hyper local and try to make it just really relative and informative, because people will then start to reach out to you and go, oh dang, I didn't know that about, like when COVID hit, that we couldn't go into closings and we're having to sign in the parking lot. Like, we share all that kind of stuff in terms of what's trending and what's happening.
I love it. Great job. Mark Z, same question to you. It seems to be on the mind of every newer agent or people getting into real estate. What's your most effective lead generation tool or process?
Gosh, great question. Ours is going to be prospecting for expires and for sale by owners. I'm an old Mike Ferry student, so it's the most predictable and duplicatable lead generation tool that we have. We know that if we make X amount of calls, we're going to get X amount of follow-ups and X amount of appointments, and from those appointments, we're going to get X amount of listings from them. We're under the belief that, you know, listings have babies. You know, from our listings, we pick up buyers. The more signs you have in the ground, you know, we always carry between 100 and 150 listings at all times. So our most predictable and cost-effective solution is being on the phones, and we have inside sales agents. We've got our agents on the phone, so we're big phone people.
Mark, when I come back in my next life, I want to have your voice, dude. That voice is friggin' awesome. I'll take your smile too if I can have that. But no, it's great stuff. You know, nothing like the classics to build, right? Getting back to basics. I love that. Real quick question, Mark, on that. So for somebody who's newer and they're looking for a good CRM or something for their FSBOs and for their expires, are you using anything like the RedX or anything like that?
Yeah, great question. We use two systems. We use Vulcan 7 and we use Mojo Cells. So a combination.
Can you put those in the chat box after you're done talking? Can you throw those in the chat box for people? Because I know I'll get a gazillion emails later. Like, hey, what were those again? But once you get done talking, yeah, go on, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at @SoldByMarkZ. Feel free to DM me, ask me any questions.
Beautiful.
But it's Vulcan 7 and Mojo Cells. The reason why we use both is because Vulcan 7's data seems to be a little bit better, but Mojo Cell has a 3-line dialer. So you can take Vulcan 7's data, import it into Mojo Cells, and then call three times the amount of people.
Man, that's huge. I hope everybody caught that. And Mark's we're gonna put that down in the chat box for you so you guys can see that on there. So Matt, this is a great topic. It's going great, man. I'm writing stuff down right now. What's your most effective lead generation tool or process?
Yeah, it's hard to follow up Mark Z because it's the same way. I mean, so I moved. I was in South Florida and I relocated back to Pittsburgh, but I'm from about 2 hours east of here. So when I first came back, I didn't have a network. I didn't have a sphere. I had a couple of friends here. I had a little bit of family. So the phones was the only way that I knew how to get business. You know, I taught myself a little bit of lead generation online, you know, Facebook ads and converting those. But if you're starting out in the business, I feel like a lot of people, they'll start out on buyers, right? And they spend so much time on buyers and they're running around, and then they never get started on listings and they never get into that mode, and they wait so long, and it's like year 3 and now you're trying to go after expired listings. But at that point, it's like you've given up a lot of time, where if you'd have just dove in head first and started on expired listings or FSBOs and going after listings, because we know that that's the business that we all want at the end of the day. You know, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, your business is going to look a lot different, and you're going to be happy that you went that route because you control your time, you control your weekends, you control the way that you run the business if you go after those listings. So for me, it's the same thing. We use Vulcan 7, we use Mojo. We've tried Red X here, but like Mark said, I think the data on Vulcan, at least for our area, is a little bit better than Red X. Although I know some people in other cities that say the opposite, so vice versa. So we use the same two things.
Awesome, man. Great minds think alike. I love it. So I'm going to go to Keith Bliss. Man, what's your most effective lead generation tool or process? We got great stuff going here.
So I've been with the mindset of multiple lines, dialing out, round robin on all the different expireds and for sale by owner scheme. And what we've done to be a lot more effective within our plan, one of the things that we shifted to, and Kristen talked about this a little bit earlier, we shifted into urban infill development as well. So we are actively developing and being the land acquisition representative for a number of builder clients that are bringing urban infill into our downtown area. And within that, there's a long process of befriending and keeping a relationship with a prospect, or a property owner that's probably maybe owned a property for 50, 60 years or longer within their family. So one of the things that we also do is we cherry pick prospect, meaning we use, as simple as, no joke, whitepages.com Premier for $10 a month, and you get the best phone numbers when you can't get them anywhere else. It's literally the best $10 a month you'll spend, because you get multiple phone numbers, and then we can prospect by texting directly to them, out of the blue. I mean, think about it. These days in tight markets, all of us are getting phone calls about properties we own. All of our clients are getting calls about properties they own from multiple acquisition groups. It's all over the place. It's not just Open Door, it's everybody. Open Door has made wholesaling a retail operation. And now everybody is modeling and getting into that game. And all the calls I get are for properties I own that some auto dialer is set up on to try to buy it from me, right? Well, so we use that same concept, but we're literally within walking distance of those properties. And so they trust us. If we're not in the game with all these other callers, we're lost and we're toast. And on top of that, within that 1 mile radius, it's really, really easy for me to manage previewing every single property that hits the market. Because like for sale by owners, and Mark will tell you this, it's totally true, the more for sale by owners you actually go see, and even if they sold for sale by owner 3 years ago, when you go on a listing presentation right next door to that for sale by owner, and you remember the story behind that house and that horrible mold and crawl space issue and divorce and cops showing up all the time, that's why it was a for sale by owner, that you get that listing like that because you knew it, because you were at that property right next door. So when we're talking about laser focus and building your community, be comfortable where you are and who you are. The last thing I want to say within your prospecting is don't try to be someone you're not. I'm not the most polished speaker. I don't have, a radio voice, and, I bumble and stumble through a lot, but at the same time, that's what attracts a lot of people to me, because I'm typically normal. I'm in jeans and dirty shoes, worn out shoes, because I hit the streets, and that's what they appreciate.
I love it. Great answer. Great answer.
I think all of you, wrote down, whitepages.com Premium.
I sure did.
I'm telling you, it's the simplest thing ever to use. It's a lot of fun.
I love it. And this is what I love about EXP, all of us helping each other, because in EXP, when one of us wins, we all win, because we're all part owners of the company with the stock. Here's some, Stacey and I are a little more unconventional, I guess. Look, write this down, but we wish people happy birthdays on their birthdays on Facebook. Now, we don't just put HPD on their thing or put a little GIF on their wall. We actually take the time to make a video and send it to them on Facebook Messenger. And here's why you would do that. When you send it, they're always, always, always going to respond back to you, and it's going to start a conversation. I can't tell you how many people will tell me, you know what? You're the only live person that actually wished me happy birthday. I mean, a bunch of people send them a text or something like that. But when you wish them happy birthday on Facebook Messenger and they respond back and you say something back, the Facebook algorithm clicks. All of a sudden, you're top in their newsfeed, they're top in your newsfeed, and now you develop the conversation. And as the conversation goes on, you can always use the old school at the end of it, after you've talked a while, not on their birthday, but later on a day or two down the road. Oh, by the way, hey, this just occurred to me. Do you happen to know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the next 6 months? I've got room on my schedule for a couple more clients, and I would love to help anybody if you know anybody like that. Here's what they're going to answer. Not off the top of my head. Be ready for that. That's not a no. Not off the top of my head. From there, you know that's coming. You're going to bypass that. You're going to say, awesome. Would you do me a huge favor? Would you keep me in mind if you run into somebody at your school, your kid's school, or your church, or your work who's thinking about it? All I would need from you is just to introduce me. Don't ask for a referral, ask for an introduction. Just introduce me. We've been taught as kids, you always introduce two friends when they come together. Just introduce me, a quick three-way text, a quick Facebook Messenger group, and I will owe you forever. If you ever need me to walk your dog, you need a ride to the airport, you need me to babysit your kids, I'm there for you. I'm your guy. I would love it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Boom. You will immediately Jedi mind trick, implant in their head, and they are now, it has affected what's called their RAS filter, is top of mind awareness, and they are now thinking of you. You were probably one of the only people besides maybe their mother that wished them live their happy birthday. And for your really good clients, I'll even bust out my Marilyn Monroe happy birthday for them, and it'll get a huge laughter for them. And that is where we get it. And then our secondary course is, of course, KV Core. If you're an agent and you're watching this, we get KV Core included as the EXP agents. If you've priced KV Core out there, it's an incredible CRM and lead generation system. But if you're not in EXP, it's going to cost you around $500 a month. With us, it's included. I don't know if you caught that or not. If your agent's out there watching, it's included with us. You plug and play, plug it into your social media, and it will cultivate your leads. Internet leads that come in typically aren't going to be doing business for 18 to 24 months down the road a lot of times. Well, EXP's KV Core Artificial Intelligence will cultivate the lead through our texting service and emails that look like they're coming from you. And it will then let you know when they're ready to go. So you only have to talk to leads that are ready to go. And we have that. It's all plug and play. We have people that you can simply just pay money to and they'll set it all up for you. Or if you're a computer genius like I'm not, you can have people, you can do it yourself. You can go out and learn if you want, but we just pay people to do it a few bucks and it's done for you. And so that's our lead gen tool. Let's see, we got time for one more question for this cool group. And I'm going to go around here. Let's talk about, I'm going to hit Kristen first. Kristen, tracking your numbers. I know you know your numbers. I heard your answers. How do you track your business?
So we've been using CTE, Commitment to Excellence, for years. CTE.biz or CTEbiz.com. I can look it up when I move on. It's incredible. It's something that was introduced to us many moons ago, and it's just a beautiful thing to be able to see year over year, pull month over month. It's the lifeline, I think, to our system. It's the lifeline to our business, rather, in knowing our numbers. So I'm not the one that inputs that. Lori, our director of operations, handles all that. She has numbers prepared for us each Tuesday morning. And it's just, it's a no-brainer. I think it's $30 a month, $19 a month, something like that. I'll pop over in the chat.
Chat below for me, if you would, for people that'll be hitting me up, asking me about that later. That would be great. Great answer on that. Mark, I'm going to go to you next. What are you doing differently this year than you did last year to improve your numbers?
Honestly, we're at a point in our career where we're not really trying anything new. We know what works for us. We know what doesn't work for us. And we just try to be more consistent doing the things that work for us. we found that there's a direct correlation to adding team members. The more people you have, our model's a mini EXP model. When you're part of a team, the more team members you add, the more numbers you can do. So we're just constantly, looking to upgrade our talent, I guess you would say. The fallout ratio in this business is very, very high. I don't know what the numbers is, but I would imagine 75% that get their license this year won't be in the business next year. So you constantly got to be looking for new talent. That's it.
I love it. You evaluate your business. It's the 80-20 rule. 20% of your activities generate 80% of your income. It's great. I love it on that. And for agents that are watching this who just heard those scary numbers from Mark, he's giving you real numbers. 2 out of 3 agents won't make it 1 year. 95 out of 100 won't make it 5 years. Those are the ugly numbers. But that's with the old school model. EXP's model of mentorship and helping people, when you have leaders like you have on here who are financially invested in your success, we're blowing those numbers out of the water on here. And if you're a newer agent, there's some myth out there that you shouldn't join EXP because they have a cloud office. Look, you can learn from people like this from all over the country in our model, where people that are in your own market won't tell you the secrets that these people are giving away to you right now. And so I love that. So let's go to Matt next. Matt, when your business is falling behind, where do you go for a booster?
I think back to the basics, right? I'm a sports guy. So if you're losing football games, you don't go look at the scheme, you go look at blocking and tackling and back to the basics. And are you hitting your call blocks? Are you hitting your time on the phone? Are you hitting your contacts? So every time that we look and we look at our projections, we use CTE as well. And we're looking at a projection right now where, October is a little bit light off of the huge summer that we just came off of. So it's like, well, what do we've got to do? So we're having a contest for our team to get back on the phones and phone time and Mojo log dial time. So it's really get back to the basics and do the things that got you there. A lot of times, like I talked about before, a lot of times you just spend, you get busy and then you spend time closing those transactions and then you're not busy again in a couple of months. So getting back to the basics and making sure that you're doing the hard work, doing the calls, doing the things that got you successful in the first place is always where you would go back to start, I think.
I love it, Matt. Great point. And, since you were giving me a hard time about being a Cleveland Browns fan with you being a Steelers fan, we understand, right? We got to get back to the basics on that. No, I love it. We have a good time. Look, EXP is fun, man. Our motto is making real estate fun again. We have a great time, and everybody on here can tell you, and you can tell by the people we're talking to. So last question of the day is going to go up here. We're going to go to Keith. And Keith, where do you invest in yourself in education and coaching? And I already wrote it down because I think I know the answer because I heard the way you were talking earlier, but let's hear it. Where do you invest in yourself in your education and coaching?
Well, these days, I'm actually learning more through my business partners than ever before. When it comes down to right now, between my architect business partner, my builders, my surveyor, we're actually in the process of building a new home ourselves, Kristen. So very exciting times. And within that, my peer group comes from EXP. It comes from our icons. And what's so great is, as we, and a good segue is next month, a month from today, we will be in EXPCon virtually again, as we did this spring. What's amazing about, we do typically get together twice a year in person and meet people live that we've grown to know virtually, either through Zoom, our avatars, or through Facebook Workplace. And it's so great to make those face-to-face connections. However, when we built out in a 30-day time frame for Bella, turned around and built us an actual campus, an actual convention center for us to meet and attend, it was astounding how quickly we were able form that. I can't wait to see what EXPCon's convention center looks like next month. I'm excited about that. I'm also on the XCamp organizers committee. So come to XCamp. It's always amazing. This will be the first time we've done it virtually, where we bring ideas to the table on the spot and then have ICON agents and other agents actually teach classes on the spot in separate rooms. So it's going to be lightning speed this time around because we don't have to physically chase each other around. We just point and click and get to the room. But I'm super excited about EXPCon next month. So most of my training and coaching comes directly from our peer group. So I can't appreciate all of you more.
I got to echo that with Keith, exactly what he's talking about. If you're thinking about getting into real estate or you're a newer agent with us, look, we have the best of the best they're willing to pour into you, and we do it in the cloud world. You can attend in your jammies if you want, because you're going to have a little avatar and you go up there. And here's what you'll love about our learning is that it's interactive. Like, it's a live class where you can raise your hand, you can ask a question, you can put it in the chat box, and then you're going to learn from the other people there. And we have the best of the best who, again, it's worth saying again, are willing to give away their secrets because they're compensated for it and because we all win together being agent owners. See, here's what I know. Where Stacy and I had hit in Columbus, Ohio, is we had plateaued. We had plateaued because nobody who's in the top echelons of agents in this city are giving away their secrets that are working. We're all competitors in this, where EXP is a collaborative experience. We're all working to make each other better. I was in a class in the world the other day in our world. And by the way, anybody who's on here can get you a free pass to the world to go check it out. So if you're not in EXP yet and you want to check it out, get with the person that you saw this on their social media that you know, and they'll get you a free guest pass for 2 weeks to come check it out and test drive our world, and you'll love it. But this woman is doing $100 million a year in production on her own with like 2 assistants. And I'm like, I better listen to what she has to say, right? So I pull out a pen, and she's talking about open houses. 24 years of doing real estate, and I learned something right then that completely changed my open house business and took it from being where some people consider it a waste of time to now it's another lead source. And she opened up her playbook on what she does, and it was incredible. I'm like, I can't believe a quarter century and I hadn't thought of this stuff. And I write it down and I copied it. We implemented it in our business immediately. So I want to thank our panel today for jumping on, taking your time out, and to teach everybody else what to do. Here's what I want you to do. If you made it to the end of this, congratulations. Short attention span people don't ever make it to the end of the videos. But here's what I want you to know. If you know one of these people, get back to them. What they're going to do is they're just going to give you a chance to show you the EXP business model. Take a look at it and evaluate it for yourself. Don't listen to what you're hearing out there on the streets, right? The haters, we're the new kids on the block, the disruptors, even though we've been around 12 years, we're the disruptors to the marketplace. And it comes along every decade or so, a new business model comes in and disrupts the place, and that's us. And we're growing so fast, and the reason for it is this. We are helping agents become owners. You don't have to become a broker. You can build your own company inside the company, as you've heard these people talk about. We have a lead gen system to help you sell, that's included to help you sell more real estate. We have a retirement plan for you with our stock program. We have residual income coming in from our revenue share program, which is a superior version of profit share. We have a healthcare plan. And as you can see from talking to these super people right here, we have the best mentorship in the industry, bar none. And by the way, we have the best split in the industry too. You become an ICON agent, nobody beats 100% plus split, because that's what we are with an appreciating stock. If you're a producer, you're operating at better than 100% split, and that's what we have. So I want to thank everybody for jumping on. Kristen, Mark, Matt, Keith, thank you. You guys are champions. I can't wait to see you at EXPCon, and I can't wait to see all of you guys in person again when we get back to having some frosty cold beverages together and see each other and giving us all hugs, because at EXP, we're owners, all of us together, and we all love each other. So congratulations, guys. Thank you for jumping on today.
Thanks, Jim.